Hello! Welcome back to Craft Chat at Craft Habit. We're here in our customer lounge today with a view of our classroom behind us. And my very special guest today is my mom. This is my mom, Karen.
That's me. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in.
It's fun.
I'm so excited she's here. We're going to talk about her experience learning to sew and how she taught me to sew, because now I teach people to sew. And I kind of want to talk about how that process happened and how everyone learns differently. So we were just chatting a little bit, but tell me a little bit about your sewing journey.
My sewing journey. Yeah, my mother did not sew. Her mother was a fabulous seamstress, so my mother just said to just skip past her. She wasn't interested. So I didn't learn to sew till I was in junior high and had a home ec class in which we had to make a skirt. And I didn't like making it, and I didn't like the way it turned out, and I didn't wear it, and I was done with sewing. And then in high school, a couple of years later, I had a good friend who would stop off in a shop on the way home from school, buy a yard of fabric, and come to school wearing her new skirt the next day. And I thought, whoa, you can do that? So she really taught me a lot of tricks and got me started, and I went crazy from there.
Nice.
And in fact, took advanced dressmaking in my senior year, which wasn't anything I needed, but I also didn't need the physics class I'd started and wasn't enjoying. So I learned a whole lot more life skills from advanced dressmaking than I did from.
Oh, that's really good. I think that a lot of times when their first experience with the craft is negative, yeah, that's it, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at this isn't for me. And I definitely find when I'm teaching classes, I try to spot who's headed down that path and see if I can cut them off as soon as possible, because I want them to know it's going to be okay.
Right.
It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be okay.
Right. Right.
And so you taught me to sew. What was that,
well, you say that I did, but
ish?
I don't remember
10?
exactly.
I don't know.
Your older brother had started sewing a little bit because he liked making wild costumes, and
That's
I wasn't
right.
going to. In fact, I think he didn't trust me to execute his vision. So he learned to use the sewing machine, and he made some crazy stuff. And you might have been inspired because you often wanted to do things Ian did. But I don't remember teaching you to sew. I remember kind of getting out of your way and helping you use the tools, because if you didn't want to do a step that I wanted to suggest, you weren't going to do it. And I didn't want to turn you off of sewing. So I remember you would make a garment that needed facing in the neckline, for instance, and you'd say, nope, just going to fold the edge over and stitch it down. And I would sort of wince but not say anything. I figured better somebody else say something. By your senior year, you were doing gorgeous dressmaking and made a friend her raw silk prom dress, and I thought you earned every penny that they paid you, which was pretty handsomely.
Thank you.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know that I was your teacher, probably just your facilitator.
The first facilitator. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember thinking, show me how this machine works, and then let me just do it. I'm sure I can figure it out from here. And that's not exactly how it worked. I definitely made lots of really terrible things.
That's part of figuring it out.
That is part of figuring it out. I definitely was a garment is two flat pieces that are identical, and you sew them together, and it fits you, which can work when you're 7 or 8 years old, but not so much once you grow up.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I do remember, shooing away advice, but then later, I had other teachers. When I went to college and I worked in our costume shop, I had to learn how to do things right. I could not fake facings, and
I could imagine.
Yeah,
but
and,
you also were always very inventive, and if you had fabric and an idea, you would just try it out.
Yeah.
And nobody said, don't do that or it won't work.
Yeah. And I think that's so important. When people are interested in being creative and learning, if the first thing that happens when someone gives them 25 rules you have to follow to do it right, that's just
done.
Kill the creativity. Goodbye.
That's right.
So I don't want that. And definitely when I teach,
Yeah.
I tell people, I promise you won't be perfect. We're going to get through it. And I'm going to tell you, you can do it like this or like that. If you want a perfect corner, we can do this. If you want it done, we'll do it this way. And I definitely that's a lesson too I've learned, is sometimes done is better than good.
Yes.
If the alternative is not done at all.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, it tickles me that you adopted that and that you're passing it on.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Yeah.
And in my own personal sewing journey, I still like fast and dirty stuff. But I'm working on a top right now where I'm really following the directions and really going step by step. It is so slow.
Right. It's painful.
It is.
Makes you really admire the people who do
Yes.
that full time. And
Yeah, but when it turns out it has a flat collar and buttons and buttonholes that work, I'm going to be very excited, and I'll show it to you.
All right. I look forward to that.
Awesome. So thank you for agreeing to craft chat with me on
Happy
camera.
Happy to.
And,
Yeah. I don't think we've ever talked about our sewing journeys together, have
That's
we?
true.
So
I'm glad we did.
interesting. Good to
All right.
share.
Well, we're
Good
gonna
luck,
say goodbye.
everybody. I hope
Yes,
you have
good
as much
luck.
fun and as much pride in your kid learning to sew as I do.
Bye.